Hello there, garden fixers. You know what changed my entire front yard from patchy grass nightmare to magazine-worthy landscape? Ground covers. And I'm not talking about boring green mats. I'm talking about stunning flowering perennials that come back year after year, require almost zero maintenance, and look absolutely gorgeous. Last spring, I ripped out 200 square feet of struggling lawn and planted ground covers instead. My water bill dropped by $40 per month, mowing time disappeared completely, and honestly, my yard has never looked better. Neighbors literally stopped their cars asking what I planted. Today, I'm showing you the 10 most beautiful perennial ground covers that actually thrive without constant babysitting. Number 7 blooms for 3 months straight, creating a carpet of flowers. And number 9? That one stays green all winter when everything else is brown and dead. Welcome to Daily Garden Fix, where we show you how to create stunning gardens that work with you, not against you. If you're tired of fighting grass and want something beautiful that actually survives, hit that subscribe button and ring that bell. Here's your challenge. Comment ground cover convert if you're ready to ditch some of that struggling lawn. I want to see who's making the switch. Let's transform some yards. Ground cover 1, Creeping Thyme. Why it transforms your yard? Imagine a living carpet that smells amazing when stepped on, blooms in gorgeous pink or purple flowers, and requires mowing maybe twice a year if you even want to. That's Creeping Thyme. What makes it beautiful? Late spring through early summer, it explodes into a solid carpet of tiny flowers. From a distance, your yard looks like it's covered in pink or purple mist. Bees absolutely love it, creating this gentle buzzing soundtrack throughout your garden. The practical magic? It's drought-tolerant once established, handles foot traffic beautifully, and stays low at 2 to 3 inches without mowing. You can literally walk on your flowers. The aromatic leaves release scent when crushed, so every step through your yard smells like an herb garden. I planted Creeping Thyme between my stepping stones. Within 1 season, it filled in completely, creating a fragrant, flowering pathway. Now guests always comment on the amazing smell and ask to walk through it again. Growing conditions: full sun, well-drained soil, zones 4 to 9. Thrives on neglect. The less you fuss with it, the better it performs. Pro tip: plant it where foot traffic is light to moderate. It can handle people walking across it, but won't survive being used as a main passway. Perfect for filling in between stones or replacing small lawn sections. Ground cover 2, Ajuga. Why it transforms your yard? Ajuga solves the problem area every yard has, that shady spot under trees where grass refuses to grow. Instead of bare dirt or struggling patches, you get glossy foliage with stunning purple-blue flower spikes. The entire area looks like it's covered in purple candles. The practical magic: it spreads quickly, filling in bare spots, tolerates full shade to part sun, stays evergreen in most climates, and requires absolutely zero maintenance once established. Deer and rabbits won't touch it. I planted Ajuga under my oak tree where grass died every summer. Within 2 years, it covered 150 square feet, creating a lush, purple-flowered carpet in an area that was previously my yard's embarrassing bald spot. Growing conditions: part shade to full shade, average to moist soil, zones 3 to 9. One of the few ground covers that actually prefers shade. Pro tip: use chocolate chip variety, has tiny leaves perfect for small spaces. Burgundy Glow has multicolored foliage, adding interest even when not flowering. Mix varieties for textural interest. Ground cover 3, Golden Creeping Jenny. Why it transforms your yard? This one brings sunshine to your landscape literally. The bright chartreuse foliage glows in the garden, especially in part shade where the color really pops. It's like having permanent sunlight painted on your ground. The beautiful is that yellow foliage is eye-catching from across the yard. In early summer, it produces small, bright yellow flowers that complement the foliage perfectly. The trailing habit creates flowing waves of color. The practical magic, it grows in sun or shade, color intensity varies, tolerates wet soil where other plants fail, spreads quickly covering bare ground, and that bright color makes everything around it look better by contrast. I used golden creeping jenny along my pond edge where the soil stays constantly moist. Nothing else would grow there without rotting. The jenny thrives, cascading over the rocks, creating gorgeous golden waterfalls. The yellow foliage reflects in the water, doubling the impact. Growing conditions: part sun to part shade, best color in part shade, moist to wet soil, zones 3 to 9. One of the few ground covers that actually likes having wet feet. Pro tip: use it as a color accent rather than massive coverage. The bright yellow can overwhelm if overused, but strategically placed, it makes everything around it pop. Perfect for highlighting paths or brightening dark corners. Ground cover 4, Blue Star Creeper. Why it transforms your yard? This creates the most delicate fairy garden effect imaginable. Tiny blue star flowers cover the entire plant in spring, creating an ethereal blue mist across your yard. What makes it beautiful? The flowers are small but abundant. Hundreds of tiny blue stars scattered across fine-textured green foliage. It's like someone scattered sapphires across your lawn. The overall effect is soft, romantic, and absolutely enchanting. The practical magic, it tolerates light foot traffic, making it perfect for filling in between pavers, stays low at just 1 to 2 inches, spreads steadily without becoming invasive, and those blue flowers appear for months in spring and early summer. I planted Blue Star Creeper between all my patio pavers. Now when it blooms in spring, my entire patio looks like it's floating on a cloud of tiny blue flowers. Guests always photograph it. It's that pretty. Growing conditions: full sun to part shade, average moisture, zones 5 to 9. Prefers mild climates and may struggle in extreme heat. Pro tip: it can be slightly aggressive in perfect conditions. Plant it where you want it to spread, like filling in completely around stepping stones. Avoid planting near slower-growing delicate plants it might overtake. Heart ground cover 5, Pink Muhly Grass, Muhlenbergia capillaris. Why it transforms your yard? Okay, technically this is an ornamental grass, but used as a ground cover in mass plantings, it creates the most stunning effect in fall when it blooms. The entire area looks like it's covered in pink cotton candy clouds. What makes it beautiful? The airy pink plumes that appear in fall are absolutely breathtaking. The color ranges from soft pink to deep rosy purple depending on variety. When backlit by sunrise or sunset, it literally glows. It's probably the most photographed plant in my entire garden. The practical magic: drought tolerant once established, requires zero maintenance beyond cutting back once yearly, provides year-round interest, green in summer, pink in fall, tan in winter, and creates movement as every breeze makes the plumes dance. I planted 25 plants covering about 200 square feet. When they bloom in September, people actually stop their cars to look. I'm not exaggerating. I've had strangers knock on my door asking what it is. Growing conditions: full sun, well-drained soil, zones 5 to 9. Thrives in heat and humidity where other plants struggle. Pro tip: plant in masses for maximum impact. Single plants are pretty, but groups create that jaw-dropping pink cloud effect. Space 2 to 3 feet apart, and they'll fill in, creating solid coverage in 2 to 3 years. Heart ground cover 6, hardy geranium species. Why it transforms your yard? True hardy geraniums, not to be confused with annual geraniums, are blooming machines that flower for months, creating colorful carpets that just keep going and going. What makes it beautiful? Depending on variety, you get blue, pink, purple, or white flowers covering attractive lobed foliage from late spring through fall. Many varieties bloom repeatedly if you deadhead spent flowers. The mounding habit creates waves of color throughout your beds. The practical magic: long blooming period, some varieties flower for 3+ months, deer-resistant, drought-tolerant once established, and that mounding spreading habit naturally suppresses weeds while looking intentional and designed. I planted Roseanne variety, which has blue-purple flowers. It bloomed from May through October,
5 months of continuous flowers. The color is so vibrant, it makes everything else in the bed look better. Growing conditions: full sun to part shade, depending on variety. Average soil, zones 4 to 8. Different varieties for different conditions, so choose one suited to your specific site. Pro tip: Roseanne and Roseanne's cousin are longest bloomers. Biokovo has fragrant foliage and pink-white flowers with fall color. Research varieties. There's one perfect for almost every garden situation. Heart Ground Cover 7, Sedum, Sedum species. Why it transforms your yard? This is number 7, the 3-month bloomer. Sedum Autumn Joy specifically blooms from late summer through fall, changing color as it matures, creating an evolving display. What makes it beautiful? The flower heads start green, transition to pink, deepen to rose, then finish as rusty bronze. Each stage is gorgeous, and because the progression is gradual, you get 3 months of changing color. The succulent foliage is attractive year-round, and dried flower heads look beautiful in winter. The practical magic: extreme drought tolerance, 0 maintenance required, handles poor soil, spreads steadily creating full coverage, attracts butterflies and bees, and those dried winter seed heads provide food for birds while looking architectural under snow. I planted sedum along my driveway where salt spray and poor soil killed everything. Not only does it survive, it thrives. The fall flowers are so showy that our mail carrier commented on them. Growing conditions: full sun, well-drained soil, zones 3 to 9. Literally thrives on neglect. Overwatering or rich soil actually weakens it. Pro tip: there are hundreds of sedum varieties from tiny creeping types to tall upright forms. Mix low-growing varieties like dragon's blood for red foliage with taller autumn joy for textured combinations. The diversity in one genus is incredible. Heart Ground Cover 9, Pachysandra, Pachysandra terminalis. Why it transforms your yard? This is number 9, the winter warrior. When everything else turns brown and dormant, Pachysandra stays bright, glossy green, looking fresh and lush all winter long. What makes it beautiful? That evergreen foliage is what makes this special. The deep green, glossy leaves catch winter light, creating spots of life when the rest of the garden sleeps. White flower spikes in spring are a nice bonus, but it's really about that year-round green presence. The practical magic: evergreen in zones 4 to 9, shade tolerant, actually prefers shade, spreads steadily creating uniform coverage, and requires absolutely 0 maintenance once established. Plant it and forget it. It just keeps looking good year after year. I planted Pachysandra along my north-facing foundation where sun never reaches. It's solid green coverage that looks intentional and maintained, but I literally do nothing to it in winter. While neighbors' foundation plantings go brown and sad, mine stays vibrant green. Growing conditions: part shade to full shade, average to moist soil, zones 4 to 9. Actually struggles in full sun, so perfect for those shady problem areas. Pro tip: green sheen variety has exceptionally glossy leaves. Silver edge has variegated foliage, adding interest. Buy small starter plants. They're cheaper and spread just as quickly as larger plants. Be patient the first 2 years, then enjoy decades of coverage. Heart Ground Cover 10, Creeping Phlox, Phlox subulata. Why it transforms your yard? Spring wouldn't be spring without creeping phlox. When it blooms, it creates solid sheets of color, so vibrant and dense you can barely see the foliage underneath. It's one of the most spectacular spring shows any plant can provide. What makes it beautiful? The flowers come in bright pink, purple, white, or red, covering the entire plant for 3 to 4 weeks in spring. We're talking carpet-to-carpet flowers creating massive color impact. From a distance, your yard looks like someone painted the ground. It's genuinely show-stopping. The practical magic: evergreen foliage, though it's not showy, extremely drought-tolerant once established, spreads to cover banks and slopes, preventing erosion, and that spring flower show is worth the price of admission alone. Deer-resistant is a bonus. I planted creeping phlox on a difficult slope where mowing was dangerous. It filled in within 3 years, creating complete coverage. Now every April, that entire hillside explodes into a river of purple-pink flowers that stops traffic. Best decision I ever made for that problem area. Growing conditions: full sun, well-drained soil, zones 3 to 9. perfect for hot, dry slopes where other plants struggle. Pro tip: after flowering, shear plants back by 1/3 to encourage denser growth and more flowers next year. Mix colors for more impact. Pink and purple together create stunning combinations. Excellent for rock gardens and challenging slopes. 10 perennial ground covers that completely transform yards from boring grass or bare dirt into stunning living carpets that come back year after year. From creeping thyme you can walk on, to sedum that blooms for 3 months, ajuga that conquers shade, to Pachysandra that stays green all winter, each one solves specific problems while looking absolutely gorgeous. But here's what I really want to know. Which one are you planting first? Is it that pink muhly grass creating cotton candy clouds, the blue star creeper fairy garden, or that spring explosion of creeping phlox? Drop your choice in the comments right now. And remember the challenge. Comment ground cover convert if you're ditching some of that struggling lawn. Quick question, what's your biggest yard problem? Shade where grass won't grow? Slopes that are dangerous to mow? Dry spots where everything dies? Tell me, and maybe we'll tackle it in the next video with specific ground cover solutions. If these transformational plants inspired you, smash that thumbs up button. Share this with friends fighting their lawns every weekend. Subscribe to Daily Garden Fix and hit that bell because we're showing you more low-maintenance garden solutions every single week. Thank you for growing with me today, Garden Fixers. Now, go pick your ground cover and let's transform that yard from grass nightmare to perennial paradise. Until next time, remember, the best gardens are the ones that maintain themselves. Happy planting, everyone!